Welcome to Sad Boys, a podcast about feelings and other things also. I'm Jarvis.
And I'm the British one, Brian David Gilbert.
That's true. And you are doing this whole podcast in a American accent.
Yeah, this is...
You're like Hugh Laurie.
The thing is, there's a lot of British accents. There's a lot of idiosyncratic ones.
There are.
And this one, surprisingly, my normal speaking voice is just how they speak in West Leicester.
I've seen a million universes, and you're from the one where British people on your side of
talk
the world
exactly like
talk exactly like regular Brian David Gilbert.
So that's just a fun little thing.
Welcome to Sad Boys. Ba-da-da-ba. Oh yeah, I was actually gonna kind of lead us out of that.
Okay.
How are you?
Oh well. Oh yeah.
I love this guidance from Anastasia. We should keep this in, which is just Anastasia being like, "This is how conversation goes."
How conversations go?
Ask how he is.
Okay,
sure.
Jarvis asked Brian, and now Brian, you ask Jarvis.
Yeah. This is what you don't see.
I'm scared.
Every Sad Boys takes 15 hours to film, and it's just
Anastasia
Anastasia
whispering in my ear.
giving line reads
Now ask
back
how
and
he
forth.
is.
So I actually have a little, I've taken little clips of Jordan from previous episodes.
Yes.
And I want to see how well you can fit into Jordan's shoes.
Okay.
Because he does have, I don't know how, if you know this, but he does have quite large shoes.
True.
And so you're stepping into those.
Flat
Yes.
feet too.
Very
that's
flat,
good to
big
know.
feet.
But yeah, I will definitely not have the correct shoe size for this man. But I'm willing to try.
So let me pull this up. Here
I didn't know this was happening.
Great.
This is a fun little.
I like this. No, this is great. I love being surprised. That's my
Yeah.
favorite thing.
Okay, here's the first one.
That's so true.
He never said that.
That's so true. That's so true.
That's so true.
Okay, so I've met Jordan a handful of times, mostly on this podcast, is what I would say. But a lovely guy. I feel
Normally
like
he's attached to the couch cushions.
I get an understand. I feel like I have an understanding of his patter. I can't do his accent, but I do understand the way he semantically speaks. I can't do it as well as he does because he's the original.
Right.
But he definitely. If I was going to do a Jordan, and I'm okay. Now, here's
I like this.
what I think that I've. All right.
This is actually really good.
I think it's a lot of adjusting yourself.
It is a lot of
to
adjusting.
get
He gets
yourself
it.
into the
He gets
position.
it.
And
Yeah.
it is, okay.
That's so true.
It's so true.
That's so
That's so true, Jordan.
That's so true. But he has some different. What are the others?
Oh yeah, you can honestly you can try
You gotta
any
put
sort
a
of
knee
pretzeling.
pretty much in your chin.
Yeah.
I can get. There's a lot of this
Yeah, that's-
going on
yeah,
too.
oh, a lot of that.
Which I have to. I'll keep.
I'm
adjusting.
honestly like kind of scared at how
How
well you're
spot
doing
on this is,
yeah.
even though this is all my plan was to fully just absorb his essence, so that way
right.
you
It's
wouldn't
still
even
in there.
recognize
Yeah, that's true.
when he's gone.
Okay, should we do what? We'll do one more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the next one.
What did you just say to me?
What did you just say to me?
That was really good. I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I just said to him.
That's so true.
It really is that true. It really
I
is
had
true.
no idea. Like hearing these clips in isolation, that's so true. Extremely posh sounding.
Oh, this is like Jordan's never said these things in his normal pattern
These are
of
put
speech.
on.
And then, what did you say to me? Reminds me of like the sheriff of Nottingham from the
Fox.
No.
Oh, no.
Why am I blanking on it? Snape. What's the actor's name?
Oh, you're talking about Alan.
Alan Rickman.
Yeah, Alan Rickman plays the sheriff of Nottingham in an old.
That
Robin
one.
Hood?
Yes.
And
Sounds the same.
I'm like,
Wow.
wow, Jordan's so British. I never
is.
realized.
Well, we've talked about this before.
Did I do that?
That's another thing he always
Classic
says. Yeah.
Jordanism.
Classic. And he made that up.
Yeah.
I once at a party, I've told this on the show before, but I'm telling Brian.
Yeah.
Once at a party, someone like pulled me aside and was like, "So is it true that his accent's a bit?"
That's beautiful.
And I
That's
was
great.
like, what? And they were like, I thought he was from Texas. And I'm like, who? You were the most gullible person in
beautiful.
the world.
I bet
that's
he
really
said
good.
he's from Texas.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure.
can't take anything he says at face
He's a
value.
liar. You
Yeah.
have to lie a bunch
Dude,
too
Yeah,
much.
I just I said I was from Texas. Oh, sorry. Wait, sorry. One second.
That's for real. He is always saying he's from Texas.
He is always saying that.
It's good to know.
That's so true.
There we go.
This is a great,
Brian-
this is a fantastic soundboard to
And
have.
people, what do you need Chat GPT for? This is
I
all
know.
we need. We need Jordan soundboard.
Jordan
Jordan soundboard is
I
fine.
saw you downloading like epic meme soundboard.zip or whatever when we were starting the show. I was like, what's Jacob cooking over
I thought
there?
he was working
This
on.
is Sparta.
It's not a thing he says. That's just
Is
not.
this AI?
This is, yeah, we trained.
It's 100% AI. This next thing, he would never agree to like let me make him say this.
Wow.
But I thought this was fun.
Jacob, you're better than me and better than Jarvis. Prize.
Cries?
Cries.
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 Jarvis.
Is that, there's enough, I'm assuming, enough audio of this
Definitely.
man speaking in the world that anyone could train a thing. That's a scary thing.
It is a scary thing. One time there was a PhD student who was working on their thesis in like speech, some sort of speech analysis, something. It was like, seemed like something really cool and interesting and not like training AI, but more like coding. It was something about speech development.
Yeah.
And they asked if they could use, if they could have raw recordings of the podcast. And so I sent them like a couple years of like just raw audio. Cause I was like, I'll contribute to science and helping. And then they got their PhD and they sent us an email. And I was
Wow.
like, hey,
Yeah.
Congrats
that's our
to them.
PhD now.
That's
There's
you
a
deserve
whole like dissertation about you guys
That's
and how you
wild.
talk.
Yeah.
I know we're going to be talking about AI stuff today, but also just talking about stealing someone's whole persona as AI. I got a very scary email a couple weeks ago. It was actually while I was when I was doing the hosting gig for Pokemon for the Gala Catch 'em All game show.
Yeah.
I got an email while I was at rehearsal, and it was just through my website, which most people don't ever really email me through. It's mostly for business stuff. But then, like, I got an email that was like, "Hey, Brian, someone is using footage of you. I'm not sure if it's AI or what to sell this app." And I was like, "Oh shoot! Like, am I finally getting like the weird AI fake version of me that is happening?" And so, like, they were like, if you send me an email back, I'm like happy to send screenshots and whatever." And so I was like, "Yes, please. Like, I'd love to know this. I have no connection with this company. I'd like to see it." And then they sent over 2 pictures of a white man with a beard and long hair.
Oh my God.
That is not me. But I do want to say thank you to that person who reached out to me. If I ever am used as an AI ad, I would like to know that. But I did find it very funny when I received it. I was like, oh no, that's just another vaguely similar white man.
Disclose if you have face
Dude,
blindness.
AI is like kind of weird. I gotta head out because it's getting a little late on my time. Jacob, I'm gonna leave the call in a sec. But thank you guys for checking in. Yeah, I'll catch you. I think you should leave shirt, by the way. That's cool.
Oh, hey.
Wait,
Hey,
is he here?
hey, is this man here right now?
Is this actually Jordan?
He's here. He's been here the whole
He's
time.
been here the whole time doing clips? For real? Did he see how good my impression was of him?
He did. We'll have to ask. He did actually just leave. But
Yes.
we'll have to ask
I
it.
knew during the Texas, I was like,
That's
I know
for
what's
real.
happening.
He's actually here. Wow, that was great. You got me for real. I should know better than I should come into here as if it's an escape room and I'm just
Right,
looking
there
for
are-
clues at all
there are
times. I
lots of
know I should be
puzzles.
doing that.
Yeah, we've got to tell you what things are interactable so you
Yes.
don't just start turning my coffee table
I
upside
tried
down.
to flip your whole magic
Yeah,
box
yeah,
over, and
yeah,
you were like, no,
please.
that one's not supposed to
Now I
move.
have to clean
You know
that
what?
all
I
up.
should have known when some of the stuff he said I couldn't understand. 'Cause that's like
We have a
classic
thing.
Jordan.
We have a thing where we have someone who captions our podcast episodes, and every now and again we're in a Discord chat with Anastasia, myself, and them, and they will sometimes say, "Hey, at this timestamp, do you know what Jordan's saying?" And we go, "No, we
And
do
sometimes I'll
not."
send it to Jordan and I'll be like, what are you saying here? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
clue.
that is, I mean, I will say that is tough. It is a hard thing, especially with crosstalk and everything. We get that a lot with actually too, where like there will be subtitles that don't say the correct name or something because it's
Right.
like a weird niche fantasy name that like, of
Yeah.
course people aren't going to get. But people are always like, wow, Brian specifically put that subtitle there and it's wrong. And it's like, no, I've had nothing
You're
to do
the
with
fact
these.
checker.
But
Don't you do
I'm sorry.
everything related to
I didn't
facts?
catch those because I wasn't seeing the final cuts. So my bad.
Well, let's talk about actually. How's that been for you? How are you
good.
enjoying being the most annoying role of fact checker?
Yeah, it's a funny thing to do, especially when it's like people who come on, because we are slowly getting, unlike, fake celebrities like Jarvis Johnson or anything, we get like actual celebrities to come on the show nowadays, and they don't know who I am, and so like I do have that moment where I'm like, these people know Iffy and they probably understand him, and then there's like this other guy who's the fact checker, and I think they don't really know what to do with me for sometimes, where it's just like, oh, are you being serious?
Really lives
does he
in
really
that little corner.
he really does all this stuff, and by the end they all know that we're all just kind of like goofing around,
right.
it is it's a very funny it's a very funny process, because like it's basically 2 months of the year that I'm working on it, because we film it in a full batch. We film all 12 episodes and then in like a week, and then I don't touch it for ever until the next time I come on.
It's really interesting just how it's done, but very tight ship, and everyone's always been super duper nice.
It's a good crew there. I'm always happy working with them and with everyone who comes on. It's such a blast. I think the thing that always hits me is that like when you're in the prep process where I'm like working with the writers and they're all wonderful too, and like it is such a fun thing to do, but it's also, I'm realizing like it's the worst job for me, because I will go onto the fandom page that I need to check a thing, and then I'll be like, oh, but let me look at this thing about this, and then I'm like, I've spent 25 minutes trying to edit one question, and I'm now on like 6 Wikipedias deep.
That's kind of my favorite thing, because you just learn so many fun ancillary facts.
It is very fun, and I feel like it gives me a lot to talk about, but also it means that when I'm editing 13 questions times 12, right? Like it piles up over a while, and I'm like, oh my god, I should have finished these edits like 2 weeks ago.
156, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's good. It's a good show. And you were on this most recent one, which we won't talk about.
Yeah, we won't talk about. I do have a bit of like character building now I'm learning, which is in one of my earlier appearances, I talked about how often I forget to say actually. Yeah. And it hasn't improved.
No, it's been the same throughout every single time you've shown up.
But my favorite part is that I know things, and it's not a trivia show, except for to me. Yeah. Like, so it's like, I'll know the answer, and it doesn't, and in my heart of hearts, that's what counts.
It is good. I do appreciate they did just post a clip of you just listing off the odds for shiny Pokemon, which I was like, this is really good, because one, it wasn't the question we were asking during the actual episode. If you watch the episode, it was not specifically about that. And two, like, there's nothing else in that clip. It's literally you just like listing off from memory. And then you going, what?
That's correct. Then I go, yep.
And that's it. And I was, but also people loved it, because they're like, yeah, that's me for real.
And that's why we, that's the thing. It's like, we want to make that, right? Rather than just like buzzing in, because then it's like Jeopardy or whatever, you know?
Yes.
And those people are way more impressive than us.
Yeah, that's, I think the one thing that I have found is that like a lot of people want to play the game at home, which I fully understand. And so like we've tried to, in this most recent season, make sure that like, the shiny questions can be playable at home, like for the most part, except for a few real ridiculous ones that I got to slip in. Yeah. But it is also very difficult, because a lot of people are like, why don't you just have the most knowledgeable people about these things come on the show? And it's like, number one, that's very, very difficult. Casting is, I think, the hardest part of the show, because it's like you need to get in people who can chat and know each other so that they're comfortable, and also know the things we're talking about. And like that is a very
and you want to avoid, like, if I know a lot about Pokemon, it's not fair if everyone else doesn't have that same knowledge. So you don't want to put a bunch of questions where like they're going to be someone's like domain.
Yes. It is a very, that's I think the other thing about being the fact checker and head writer, is that it is such a puzzle to figure out. Like, I'm not just thinking, is this an interesting trivia question? Because you can make anything an interesting trivia question if it's just kind of a weird thing. Yeah. This is more like, can the question itself be either something that somebody knows and wants to talk about, something that they can make jokes about, or something that is just a goofy enough conversation starter, right? Where like you're on 3 different levels where I'm like, I want to make sure the audience likes this question, and I also want to make sure that the couch likes this question.
Yeah, and then there's stuff to chew on, even if they don't know anything about it. Because if it's a lot of times you see the background of the question, and maybe you don't know. You maybe know the general topic, but you don't know 80% of the background information. Well, you have something to chew on if you wanted to riff.
Yes, exactly. And I'd say again, I'm very happy. I feel like we've just finished filming the 3rd season that Iffy and I have done together.
Yeah.
I feel like we finally like really settled into it now. Like first one working out the kinks, second one trying some new things. Now I feel like we're settled in to the point that like the ways that I can tell if an episode is going well is one, if it is like a pretty even split among the whole couch, because I'm like, cool, I made sure that there were questions for everybody here, or at the very least somebody surprised me that I didn't expect them to know a thing. And then also,
or I forgot to say I'm actually and gave someone else the answer.
That also is a very big thing. But like I only am half joking when I'm like the best question or the best episodes, the ones that I talk the least in, is like if I can just speak through the writing and to working with the writers and making sure that I'm editing questions for that couch, then they will take care of everything for me. I don't have to chime in with weird things. I don't have to do that. And then, but the problem is I do like talking about it, so I do always want to chime in.
It is fun. No, but because I think that it's nice almost to get it. The nature of trivia is this like that ancillary trivia is also interesting.
Yes.
So being able to say something about the way in which someone is incorrect or what other crazy things you found in researching the question. I think that at least for me, maybe I just like love that stuff. I would be on Wikipedia with you, you know, or on the fandom wikis. Like that's so it like enriches the experience. I think
that the audience likes it too, and like definitely there are episodes like I'm thinking about. Well, okay, no, I can't. I was like, I can't talk. All of the ones that are freshest in my mind are from things I just filmed that won't come out for another 6 months. So I won't say anything.
It's also a show that the audience, like trivia shows, the audience wants to be able to play along. So for anyone to say, get people that know everything about this one topic, you're like, well, then I would be writing just for them, and the audience would have no fun getting to play along.
One of the things that we have done that I personally really wanted to do was something called the baby bracket, which is where we bring on people who are not really into nerd culture, but
like,
are very
are you smarter than a 5th grader style?
But it's also like these are very funny, great people, and this most recent baby bracket that I'm thinking of is so funny. It is like
awesome.
Unbelievably funny.
Like, who is this character? And it's like Sonic, and then people are like,
but like even outside of that, there's like certain questions that I thought I was like, oh, it's weird that I didn't realize you guys were like comedy nerds, so you all knew this question and we're like all trying to buzz in. Again, no spoilers for next season, but it is still like one of these things where you just are surprised, and it's a delightful thing for me to be on the set and be like, wow, you all were really gunning for this specific question. That was not what I was expecting.
There was a lot going on at MagicCon, so I'm sure this probably didn't come up. Did Karen tell you that I was like playing along during your MagicCon one?
No.
I was sitting next to Karen and I kept being like, it's Urza Saga. And then I'd like pop off. There's a few points where I like stood up because I knew the answer. I was like, let's go. I was like really stoked.
That's so good. I'm so glad.
It was a great time for me.
Yeah.
So you are... Okay, so you have a new Pokemon trivia show.
Yeah. It is weird now that I'm like, oh, I have become this niche where I'm the trivia host thing.
But the best part is you don't have to know everything.
Yes.
You get to pick. You're a curator of trivia.
Yes, for actually absolutely. Since I'm like the head writer of it, and I get to like make sure it's all working for the Pokemon Gotta Catch 'Em All game show. They have like people who I believe work for Cerebi. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, Cerebi. Joe Merrick.
Yeah. I believe he is one of the writers.
I'm a Pokemon head.
Yes,
and I know Joe Merrick, the creator of Cerebi, not dead.
Yeah, so like have some really really great like trivia people who really know it.
Yeah.
Also, it's a little different because it is like. That show is a game within a game, and that like you are trying to catch Pokemon and then use their abilities against your opponents and to like get you. It's like
that's cool.
There's a weird strategy to it, which is kind of fun, which elevates I think the trivia part of it because it's all just multiple choice mostly.
Right.
And like
just like Pokemon.
Just
multiple
like
choice. Which attack do I use?
Absolutely. And you run out of PP at some point.
Just like when I go to the bathroom. Sorry,
exactly.
maybe that. Well, hey, who cares?
No,
It's
look
like
at
very
it, I loved
G-rated.
it.
That's good. Just cut that in like 15 minutes later into the podcast as the joke to it, because since I'm
And then
an
it's like-
official Pokemon host, I can't be associated with that kind
Right,
of
you
crude
can't be
humor.
associated with that sort of potty humor.
Yeah, make sure that we put that in distant space.
Yeah,
and try
it's
to like
like
make
it's
it
in relation to something
put
else.
a punch. Yeah, it's. I think it could work as a punchline for any of the later jokes.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So we
Just
can,
like when
we
I
can
go to the
remember that.
bathroom.
Yeah.
How are you feeling being a trivia guy, a trivia host?
It's funny to be doing. It's also funny because like it's like slightly less pressure for me on actually, although the pressure is on like every time if there's something wrong with a question or something wrong with anything, that is my fault 100%.
Sure.
I do fully take credit for that. It is a weirder thing doing the live trivia for Pokemon, because it is like a live show where we're dealing with tech stuff, and I have like I have all of the contestants and a producer in my ear, and like that is a much different experience from where it's filmed and then edited, so there's a little more space you can
for
get
sure.
so like
You've got a block of marble you can carve in the edit.
yes,
But
exactly.
with the live show, it's like everything's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
You've seen it all, which is fun in another way.
Different skill set, too.
Different, exactly. And so like that one, I'm grateful that I am just purely like the host of that trivia, where I'm just reading it off and I'm giving you the answers and we're goofing around between questions, but I'm
Right.
still like trying to keep us on rails so we can finish the
Absolutely.
game. And so, but I do enjoy doing trivia. I think that's one of those things that I never really thought of as being my space, but I'm happy that I've fallen into it.
You know
It's a
what's
fun
funny?
place to be.
I think you, more than any of my friends, have such a, like, I think of you as like a jack and master of all trades, where you're kind of all over the place. I feel like if I'm seeing you doing music, it's something cool or interesting. If I'm seeing you doing like voice acting or your own like video stuff, I think that, like, I really admire your creative journey and just like the projects that you end up working on, because I never know what you're going to do next.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It is a weird thing. Definitely much to the chagrin of any person who's ever tried to get me to be better at YouTube and being like,
Yeah.
no, you have to be consistent. No, you have to
You
do
got an
the
agent
thing.
who's like, here, okay, so we're going to do this next. And it's like, I'm going to go do this other thing over
yes,
there.
yeah.
And music too. You're in a band.
Yes, kind of in a weird way. Where like Blib, that's with Louis Zong and Ian Worthington, who are both incredible animators and musicians in their own right. I say that as if I'm an animator. I'm not an animator, but they are incredible people. But like, it is a weird.
And
That
you
was
say
just
that like you're a person, but you are not
I'm
a
not
person.
I'm not a people.
And by the way,
okay? But those incredible people.
And speaking of pee, I recently went to the bathroom.
and I babies all done.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I think in a lot of ways I am a Luddite in general, in that like especially against like AI stuff, and like it also there's a part of me that feels that weird urge whenever I'm like making YouTube stuff that I'm like, no, I kind of want this to be not good. Like I don't want it to be polished and perfect and like I'm doing all the correct things and I'm saying like subscribe and all that. Like it doesn't come naturally to me. And
Yeah.
also I think I am just like contrarian in some ways.
There's many ways in which like you can choose as a creator to like betray the best practices as both just to be more true to yourself or more true to like the message of whatever you're creating.
Yeah.
But that's part of the creative process, right? Like you're making choices throughout the creative process. And I love the fact that sometimes to another person, those choices may not make sense necessarily, but to you they do, and you're the creator. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I do like that. I like being able to do that. Like I wanted to ask you, Jarvis, in terms of like, because you are so good at commentary in general, but you're also very talented just outside of that. So I was like, do you ever feel boxed into being like, I have to talk about X thing?
It's a good question. I would say that it depends on what the output, where it's going.
Yeah.
So I think I in some ways do feel boxed in on like my personal YouTube channels, simply because I know the arena that I need to operate in to succeed, and I'm not always feeling called to that.
Yeah.
But in other ways, when I first started on YouTube, I was like pigeonholed into making like tech adjacent videos, and I really I almost immediately didn't want to be doing that, but then still kind of had to figure out a way to pivot myself out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful to the flexibility that I have now. And a lot of the things that I want to do can fit inside of the shell of, or the packaging of, let's say, commentary. But I still think that I try to give myself the grace because, you know, a few years ago, I had none of this creative opportunity in my path. And while it's something that I like wanted for myself, I still feel like a baby in my creative journey and want to kind of allow myself to continue to explore and experiment and figure out what's next. Cause you know, things that I you know, used to love performing improv. Like Anastasia and I were on an improv team together, and I like to sing. And so every now and again, I'll like find an opportunity to do that, but I don't want to do music. I don't think, you know, cause I don't think I have like artistry when it comes to music. I just like it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think Jarvis is very good at, you know, doing what he has to do on YouTube and also using that in order to do fun stuff that's not necessarily career focused.
Yeah.
Like he did a musical improvised high school musical.
That was awesome.
That's right.
That was
and
really
that
cool.
is so up your alley.
Yeah.
And so fun. You're not making money off of it.
And it went
Or even
so long.
going to Pokemon Worlds and
which we'll both be at.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. My favorite thing is just using my platform to befriend people that I like.
Yeah.
It's like I get more, you know, given my position, I sometimes get a second look, and I leverage that to be like, we have shared interests, let's be friends, or I'm a big fan of your work. Like, the way that I've met a lot of people in the Pokemon community is simply from being a fan of them.
Yeah.
And also being able to engage in the hobbies and things that they share. So it's like, I love watching, like, I don't play VGC, like competitive Pokemon battling, but back in the day, I used to like play singles, which, you know, is a different time. It was back in Gen 4. But I used to be like super competitive on like Smogon, and you know, Cerebee's been around for as long as I can remember, at least since I was in high school. And all of that stuff, I can funnel it somewhere. And I get to like chit chat with people about, like, if I run into a fan at Pokemon Worlds, it's different than if I run into a fan anywhere else.
Yeah.
I like met a TCG competitor, Cyrus Davis, at Worlds last year, and they were a fan of my stuff. And I'm like, yo, what's the meta look like right now in the TCG? What are you playing? Like that's so, because I'm engaged in like all of those things, and that's fun for me to just like have that opportunity.
It is a nice thing. I was gonna say, just to slowly pull our tangent over into TCGs and things, which we know we're gonna get to anyway. but like, I was talking to Karen about this, my fiance, where we had like gone to some Magic the Gathering stuff where like there were not, like, I don't want to say celebrities, but they were just like actors and people who like happen to also love Magic. And she was like, it's a great equalizer because there's no cooler place to play Magic than a local game store or like at your local draft or you're going to a pre-release. There is no other spot to do this, so we all have to come to the same place if that's the hobby we enjoy. And the same thing was like at MagicCon, like I love it enough that I can just like chat enough about whatever commanders people are playing and stuff. And like I ran into somebody at this most recent MagicCon who was wearing a shirt from this podcast that I like called Friends at the Table, and I was like, hey, I love your shirt, I know the artist of it, blah blah blah, and we like chatted just about that for a bit and about Magic. And then at the end they were like, also, I like your work. And I was like, I'm so glad that we had this conversation about your shirt first,
right? Exactly.
And then we could like actually chat as normal people, and it makes it so much nicer.
And that's just how nice it is when you share a hobby or interest with someone, how it can like break down those barriers. That's why I think I could be friends with Post Malone.
Yeah.
Because
I think
Post Malone, for those who don't know, once shouted me out on the Joe Rogan podcast. This is a real
Really?
thing that happened.
Really? I did not know this.
This is I made a video a couple years ago called like "Spend a Week in the Metaverse," and
Yes.
he quite literally showed it to Joe Rogan.
That's wild.
And he remembered my
told
name. He goes,
Jamie
"This
to pull it
guy,
up."
Jarvis Johnson." And I was like, "What
Incredible.
is happening right now?" And then I'm like meeting all our Magic friends, and a lot of our Magic friends know Post Malone because he's a huge Magic
Yeah.
head. And I'm like, "Posty, I'm also into Magic.
This is
This
the
is
thing.
our chance.
This is the gateway.
This is our chance."
Yeah,
So
if you're
one day-
watching Post Malone, hit us up. We
Yeah.
want to get you on the couch.
Absolutely. He'd be a good sad boy.
and that's the thing, we have to go through like publicists and things.
Oh yeah.
And so I feel like if all I need is like one time I was talking to a mutual friend and they were like, "You and Post would get along so well." And I'm like, "Tell him that."
Yeah, you don't have to tell
Don't
me.
tell me.
I've already been fantasizing
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
I've already
I
been
know that
fantasizing
we're
about
gonna
our
be best
friendship.
friends.
In my dreams, we have a
Yeah.
great hate.
Yeah, and he shows me his samurai swords that I've heard that he has.
God, I do want to see those swords.
Yeah, have you heard about him?
I've heard about them at least.
Isn't that crazy that we've heard about Post Malone's samurai swords? He just has on his kitchen table.
That being said, maybe I heard about it, or maybe I am just you said that, and then in my head had a perfect image of Post
Someone
Malone
told
carrying
me-
a bunch of samurai swords.
So just imagine you're as unbelievably successful as Post Malone for a second. I know it's difficult, but then I heard like, "Oh yeah, we were at Post's house and like he had like a sword on his kitchen table." And then I was looking at it and he was like, "Yeah, it's like a 500-year-old samurai sword." And I'm like, he does that to the point where I have this like side quest blitzball on my like,
Yes,
Magic card on my table. Except for, no, that's a
beautiful.
500-year-old samurai sword.
that's great.
I love finding out that big celebrities are fans of something you would never expect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I was in robotics in high school, and we were at the World Championships, and Will.i.am was there, and we were like, "What's Will.i.am doing here?" And they were like, "He's a big First Robotics fan,"
That's
and he
so
gave a speech,
great.
and we were all like, "Hey, Will.i.am,"
That's so beautiful.
and he was like, "Robotics."
Yes, it
good.
does. I do imagine like Will.i.am talking in his like auto-tune robotic voice where he's like, now, rocking with First Robotics and me, Will.
He should do the theme for it. That seems
Yeah.
right.
Actually, real quick, friend of the show, did you have something?
No, I was just gonna say.
So friend of the show, Star Sleeps, who sent me a photo of their. They were like, "Hey, are you still looking for Final Fantasy collector boosters? They have this at Target," and it was like a singular collector booster, and so they bought it at MSRP and sold it to me, and I was like,
Wow.
"Are you sure?" And they were like, "Yeah." So shout out to Florida, and also shout out to them. They did not tell me they were sending these Sylveon Gym Pack 2
What?
little Pokemon Chinese packs. These are Chinese, right? Yeah,
I believe
they
so.
are. And I figured we could open them. I don't even know what's in here. So
Wow.
They're all evolutions.
Oh.
And they have different. I've opened so many of these boxes. I love it. They're so fun to open because every card is like just pretty and shiny.
Yeah,
So, like, no
yeah,
matter
yeah.
what you get, it's just
That
fun
is great.
opening.
well, there's
Um,
how many of us here? There's 5 of us here, and there's 6 of these. So there's 5 of these because I can count. So there's one for each of us. I'll pass it around.
Wow.
Or here, let me pass it.
There we go. Enjoy it. This is great. This is wonderful. Also, things that I've learned being a host for Pokemon. It's an EV evolution. Evolution is just a fan term.
It is.
And so I have to say that there are EV
An EV
evolutions.
evolution.
You have to
I have
uphold
to say,
the
you all can say
standards.
whatever you want. Similar to first partner Pokemon, which is the term for what most people call starters,
Starters,
but that is a
first
fan
partner.
term as well.
And I
so
I know
had
that
to
because
learn a
it's
lot
on
these
some
things.
of the products.
Yeah.
And what I will bring to the table is if you ever have a long pack, usually in Asian markets, often Japanese and Chinese, the way that they open packs are different than we do. There's actually a pull tab on the corner here, and you just rip it.
Oh.
I thought you were gonna do something like when people are like, "This is how you should open a banana," and it's the
Upside down.
stupidest choice ever.
I
but-
don't like doing that because whenever I pull the tab down, I
I'm
feel
afraid
like I'm
it's going to damage the cards,
Yeah.
but I don't think it will.
Find a way to damage it.
Ooh. I'm ready to reveal. Here I've got Umbreon. And then I've got Umbreon with a Starfoil. Which I don't know the official
Oh,
name of that, but
yeah.
this is what we would colloquially call a Starfoil.
Yes, I got a Starfoil, but for Jolteon.
And then we've got a reverse Pokeball Leafeon. And finally, a Master Ball reverse Sylveon. Not sponsored, by the way.
No, I got a Leafeon, a Glaceon, a Jolteon.
Ooh.
and an
Espeon.
Espeon, which is great. I want to say Sylveon.
Vaporeon.
Here's my own personal etymology issue. This is not Sylveon.
That's
This is
Leafeon.
Leafeon. But Sylveon is the fairy type, and Sylvan means like greenery, forests, and
yeah,
things like
like in
that.
Magic.
So in my brain, I think Sylveon has to be the green one,
Right.
but it's not. It's just my favorite
And
fairy type.
and when I hear leaves, I think of so like on trees and other flora, you
Doesn't
have these
count.
like leaves, and so it makes me think of green things. So when I
It
see
couldn't be
Leafeon,
me.
I go, great name.
No, I say Leafeon. I think that, leave me alone.
Yeah,
more
more
I
like
have to go to the bathroom because
Yeah,
my
there we
pee-pee's
go,
all
there
out.
we go.
There we go.
More like I've been at this party for a while. I got a Leafeon home.
That's great.
I got a Starfoil Vaporeon.
Oh, that's actually
Yeah,
different
that's pretty.
than
That's-
Starfoil. That's rotary.
Oh,
There's
rotary.
so many different foil
There's
types.
a lot of
for-
different foil types.
You want me to hold that up to the,
Espeon and-
to the thing?
We got this one
What
just
is
has like
extra
the psychic
shiny?
symbol. That's fun.
Extra shiny.
Espeon. Ooh, Pokeball Jolteon. Oh, the little rotary
There's-
foil Sylveon. And
Something I
Master
really
Ball
like about
Jolteon.
this set is that they did bring the fairy type energy back for some of the Sylveon cards.
oh, that's fun.
great.
And I love the fairies.
Sylveon is
Bring back Dragon.
very popular.
They have Dragon.
No,
Yes,
It's
Sylveon
just
I
like
think
a
is
few
pretty
cards per
popular.
set.
I'm
Sylveon-
pretty. Is this Sylveon?
That is Sylveon.
So I'm
yes.
pretty sure my sister. What was the my sister did cosplay. No, but she did. I'm pretty sure Sylveon, but as like a gothic Lolita dress.
That's
Oh, I
great.
think she
That's
did,
fun.
yeah.
I do love Sylveon, even though I don't want to think too hard about what the feather or the ribbons are,
Oh yeah, it's
because
just
they
skin.
are attached, and so
I
they
try to think
are-
of it like Bulbasaur's vines
Yeah.
or something. I'm like, that's fine.
That's
It's
fair. Yeah,
okay.
I could see that. That
They're
might make things a
skin
little
flaps.
better. They are just very long skin tags.
Jacob,
and
what
it's
did you
beautiful.
get?
Yes, beautiful.
Sylveon.
This one's Sylveon,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sylveon.
and then
Glaceon.
Oh, Glaceon. Is
Glaceon.
that the first Glaceon? Did someone else get Glaceon?
I got a Glaceon,
Oh, you
I
did.
think.
Okay.
Glaceon has bangs.
That's
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
Vapor- Oh, those are
Those
answers.
love
are
Glaceon
the
so
three
much.
Vaporeons. There's my.
Oh, there's
Glaceon.
Glaceon.
Different
Gotcha.
one though.
Leafeon.
Oh, that's a nice
Leafeon.
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 That's pretty.
Whoa! Umbreon V.
You got a V. That's great.
I was mentioning earlier that music critic Craig Jenkins, Pulitzer Prize finalist, by the way, is a fan of the show, and I replied to their recent article about the Justin Bieber album, and they said, "Cheers, by the way, Sad Boys is giving me a mild case of trying to figure out the Pop Mart stores deal." So
Nice.
that
Our,
out.
we did a Labubu episode. Go
Oh,
back
yeah.
and
yeah, we did,
watch.
and honestly, that's all I have too. Is just a mild case of figuring out the deal.
Yeah.
Brian, have you ever? I got
I see it.
addicted to blind boxes.
Yes.
Have
same.
you been?
That was a big thing. I would say that like Karen and I are obsessed with the weird blind boxes. Like she's
Yeah.
slowly got a Labubu. I will say there's one person who I was not super on the Labubu train just because I was like, I don't like the design of the face very
I don't
much.
either.
But that's-
Labubu, that's like when I go to the bathroom.
All right,
good.
he's
This
really
is
in
really
a
good.
potty
We got
humor
it.
train right
Having a
now.
little Labubu over
I
here.
had a la boo boo, if you know what I'm saying. A little LA boo boo. That's what happens when Jarvis goes to the potty.
An LA boo boo. You finally found a way to ruin the craze.
Yeah.
It's gonna tank after this. But
Finally.
I did see one of our friends, Rachel Weeks, who is also a Magic
Yes!
the Gathering
I
player.
think I showed people this actually.
She created. There's something called a quiver, which is where you keep all your decks for your
Oh,
magic,
yes.
and
Yeah,
also
it's a
a
product.
binder. And she made props for her Labubu.
Labubu
so
TCG
it's like
product.
got a little like a quiver full of deck boxes, and then a Labubu attached to it that has its own little quiver, and like the binder opens up and it has small little magic cards in it that you can
That's
look
By the way,
through.
bananas.
Secret Lair
So
Labubu
cute.
would go crazy.
Oh my god,
That's
They've-
gotta.
the thing is, you can tempt them, and then they'll get it out in 10
be
years.
1,000 years,
So
yeah.
after when their current secret lair list is
Yeah,
already
it's
over.
wild. I
But-
tried to get the Sonic one,
Oh, impossible.
Yeah, the Sonic one looks
Impossible.
fun.
but I didn't get it. I should have, if I had gotten in line right when it opened.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'll just wait.
I'm
and-
just
I don't know.
I'm trying to get any of the Spider-Man set that's coming out.
Yeah,
Any
I
Spider-Man
think that it
sets.
won't. Well, I can't say for sure, but I think that it won't be as crazy as Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Just because I don't, but I also don't know Marvel people's game like that.
I have to. Okay, I must tell you a story about
Please.
a recent time I was playing Magic with a new friend who I met on the day, who is also an influencer of some kind, but I won't mention them just because he and I were talking about Magic, and he was like, "Oh yeah," and like he was like, "I'm really excited about Edge of Eternities. I am as well. I love that kind of space stuff. I love all of the
space.
design. It's great. I'm building a deck that's about pondering orbs, and there are so many orbs
That's
in
such
that.
a good idea.
It's a great one, but he was talking to me about it, and he's I think like in his late 20s, and he was like, yeah, it was funny because like I wasn't really into the Final Fantasy set because that wasn't really for our generation, and I was like, oh, but it was for my generation. Like
Yeah.
I had a moment where I was
Final
like,
Fantasy-
it wasn't, but I'm like, it made me realize at that moment, I was like, yeah, Final Fantasy was so integral to like the 30-year-olds right now who
Yeah.
like grew up with that, and that was like the cutting edge thing. And by the time like even people 5 or 6 years younger than me, that was like in the weird era of Final Fantasy
Yeah,
that like didn't
it's
quite
not-
grab
didn't-
people
It
as
wasn't
much.
as mainstream.
Yeah. And so having that moment where I was like, whoa, Final Fantasy is not for people 6 years younger than me. Like even that is enough for a big shift of like cultural thing.
What's
That was
interesting
wild
is
to
that
me.
like Final Fantasy VII came out in like 97, I think.
Yeah.
And I would have been 5 years old.
Yeah.
I did not play that game when it came out. I played everything like super
Yeah.
late,
Yeah.
January
Well,
of
I
97.
do think that also back then things had a longer ramp
Yes.
up because
Yeah.
you were finding out from word of mouth more often.
Yeah.
You know,
True, yeah, because I remember like even like this Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. I want to say this movie came out in theaters in like 94.
so you probably didn't see it when
Yeah,
it came out.
94, 95.
yeah.
And so I saw it on this VHS tape in front
Yes.
of my mom saved up to buy a big screen TV. I don't know if you remember screen. Like, it's a big empty
Yeah.
box with like 3 lights behind it. It was basically like a projector inside of a giant wooden box.
Yeah, it was like a piece of furniture.
It was a piece of furniture,
Yeah.
yeah. And I sat crisscross applesauce in front of that TV and watched that movie and watched Ivan
Had
East
it
go,
burned
Yep.
into your
"What's that
retinas.
smell? Teenagers."
yes.
He said that.
That's an important line.
It's a good line.
Yeah, I do. So that person thought
Yes.
you were in your 20s.
Yes, which
That's
also
very sweet.
Thanks for that. I appreciate that. I am 31, but I did have that moment where I had a moment where they're like, yeah, I think that like, you know, they're making a lot of magic for like people in their 30s, not like us. And I was like, you're right. Definitely couldn't be me who's in his 30s and really loves the Final Fantasy set. Definitely couldn't be me.
So Avatar: The Last Airbender
Mhm.
is getting a set at the end of this year, and I am stoked about it. And I'm also curious what the age, because I feel like Avatar also spans like a pretty. Were you an Avatar kid?
It was on when I was a kid, but I didn't like the style of it
That's
when
fair.
I was a child. So I was like, I don't want
It's like I was the age when it started. Like I remember it pre-hype.
Yeah.
Like I'm both young enough and old enough for Avatar and to be there for the first episode of SpongeBob. Do you remember the hype around the first episode of SpongeBob?
I don't know if I remember the hype around it,
It
but
was like
didn't
I remember that there were just commercials, like,
Yes.
and they were talking about, and I was like, "What is this?" I didn't even seem that appeling to me.
Yeah.
But because of I was just watching whatever was in front of the TV,
Yeah.
I watched it, and the rest is history. There's also a secret layer SpongeBob, and to connect SpongeBob and Final Fantasy, I haven't told you this yet.
Oh,
Blitzball
yes.
in Final Fantasy X, 2001.
Blitzball's the in-game game.
Blitzball's the in-game game. It's water soccer, basically.
Cool.
They in the story, when you play Blitzball, there's like one Blitzball game that's a part of the plot, and they have announcers.
Mm-hmm.
One of the announcers. So first of all, the voice cast is kind of crazy. It's like John DiMaggio, who's a bender, is the voice of Waka, one of the main characters in this.
Wow.
There's a lot of things, but one of the announcers, a side character who only shows up once, is Tom Kenny.
Wow. That's incredible.
And he's literally like, "We're about to watch some Blitzball." You know, it's
That's
like he's like
incredible.
doing an adult announcer voice. Like
That's fantastic.
like if you pitch down SpongeBob, he
Yeah.
does kind of sound like an announcer.
Yeah.
I'm ready to play Blitzball. I think I ripped my pants on the blitzball court.
Yeah, that was right at the like cusp of like video games started to become, oh, this is a legitimate thing for an actor to do, but it was still prior to that where it's like, oh, it's just voice actors that do it, not real actors, just voice actors do this kind of weird thing. And then now you have Death Stranding 2, which is the opposite.
I was showing Jacob screen caps of Death Stranding 2, and I actually love Hideo Kojima, loved Metal Gear, haven't played either of the Death Stranding games.
Yes.
But all I know them for is having very hyper-realistic depictions of Norman Reedus.
Yes, that is the big thing from Death Stranding. I would say I think you would like it. I like it because here's the thing about Hideo Kojima. Fantastic game designer. Really incredible. His stories are never perfect, but they are unbelievably earnest, and I think that is the thing that like here's my little spiel about Hideo Kojima.
I will also say, as you say that, there are some monologues in Metal Gear Solid 2 that like accurately predict 2025 politics.
Yeah, there's like, I mean, also you consider the fact that Death Stranding came out right at the same time that, oh, we were a land that was divided and only connected by porters because it was COVID, and like there's some weird things that he's done, but like I feel like a lot of people will try to like compare like a David Lynch to a Hideo Kojima, where it's like two weird guys,
which he loves, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure Hideo would love that. But I also am like, you should be comparing these two people, but not for the reason you're doing it. You should compare them because they both truly, honestly love and believe in the things that they're saying, and they are so earnest about it. And like sometimes that comes out as a weird character that dies every 21 minutes, who is your best friend Nicholas Winding Refn, but it's not acted by him because he's just a director and so he can't act very well. Like there's so much weird stuff. The first like he put SS Rajamouli, who made RRR and Bahubali, into Death Stranding 2. He is an incredibly important Indian director that I would say is like, he's just in there as a character that has nothing to do with him.
He also
it's so beautiful. It's beautiful.
Who were the YouTuber twins who made Talk to Me?
I can't remember their names,
Raka.
Yeah, the Raka. It's like the Romanopoulos or something twins.
I'm blanking on
their
their
brothers
names. They
or
just
twins,
did
perhaps.
Bring Her Back, right? Also was them. It is such a funny thing to see that like Kojima loves to. It's really just like. I think they are acting in it. Like, I'm pretty sure those are their actual voices. It's funny to be like, which of you are the actual people speaking, which of you aren't. Whereas also like Madong Sok Don Lee is also in that. He was one of the Eternals, if you might remember. Cool. Fantastic Korean actor, but like he is not acting in it, which is weird, where I'm like, you are an actor though, you could be doing this, you can speak English, like I don't know why this is happening, but there's no rhyme or reason. It's just like whoever Kojima wants to play with his little action figures, and it's like a beautiful thing. And Hideo Kojima, my favorite thing about him, his posting, is that he always posts photos with American actors that he's working with or a fan of. And it happens to the point where I'm like, what do they talk about? He doesn't speak English. Yes, yeah, truly.
It
is so funny. I have to remember that like he is married, and I think he has kids. I'm not sure. He like has done a very good job of keeping them out.
You wouldn't know it because in my mind, he like goes to sleep inside of a floating orb.
Right. I also
he like
think
gets beamed into a spaceship.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm pretty. I think I'm correct about that. But it is very funny. Like my favorite thing is whenever it's like press season for Death Stranding, and it's just he has posted 3 images in quick succession that are of him with this hot actress that he likes with the Titanic theme under it. And I'm like, what? You have the opposite of a social media manager. I think there must be someone who's there that's just like jabbing you every 10 minutes to be like, post something now, quick.
He loves film, and his reviews are always very like lovely and like very beautiful. And then whenever he sees something and posts about it but doesn't have a glowing review, everyone goes, oh, he hated it.
Yeah, it's so good.
He'll be like, just saw this on the plane. Yeah. What, no review? He hated that shit.
Oh, yeah. If he just posts a picture with no caption, you know it's a pan.
Oh, no.
There's nothing there. And I do appreciate that is the thing. He's still putting it out there, but he's not giving his judgment, and that's great.
Philip, who Philippow. Brothers.
Gotcha.
I had a segue.
Yeah. We were talking about something here. We wanted to talk about robots, AI. Here, well, Kojima talks a lot about ghost mechs in Death Stranding 2. Could we talk about ghosts in the machine in some way now?
I think we can, because today we've segued perfectly into one of our topics, which is something an editor of ours sent, which is this new trend of AI ASMR videos. We've slowly been collecting the infinity stones of AI taking our jobs. And I guess
already hate this.
I know.
So much.
I'm a little nervous because it's also one of those things where the content is successful and the comments are into it and not asking very many questions. And this is why regulation is important.
Yeah.
Because if left to our own id, and left to our own like we're just not going to stop the convenience or no one has the time to be as discerning as I can be when my job is being discerning online,
Yep. All right, let's see.
What do we got?
So these are very so satisfying kind of vibes,
which has already been like a terraformed part of the internet in favor of content farms.
Yes.
Right.
So that's already.
It does feel like a race to the lowest common denominator of just what can I do? Can I do a thing that triggers something? Right. That is purely all this is.
It's literally it feels like it's a machine that is positively reinforced when it creates dopamine in a human's brain.
Yes, exactly. Okay. All right.
Okay. So it's a Minecraft glass.
Yeah, of course.
Block. 360,000 likes. So that's incredibly successful.
This is great for, the next era of sixth graders to talk about. Remember when you first saw the Minecraft cube?
It's hijacking Peeps' brain.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, this is for you. This has been scientifically engineered for.
Yeah. Okay.
They're gonna cut it open. It's gonna be a Webkin.
A Webkin's frog with a questionable name.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
That one's not even a good noise.
It's an ouchie noise, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
I can see why this is successful.
I do. Okay, yeah. The fact that this is AI generated is not surprising to me. Of course, this is the things that you would put into an AI that's what's going to be successful? ASMR, Minecraft, and
knife
and just a sharp knife.
Yeah, and things that you can train, that we can generate millions of hours of footage to train on illegally, probably, most likely, not officially licensed, most likely, probably.
Yeah,
and hand cam cutting stuff.
Here's something that I think I've realized about AI in general for me, where I've always been a hater, I always will be, because I'm simply I know that it is not that I think that AI as a tool and as a research subject is not worthwhile. It's that I know how capitalists work, and I know that anyone who immediately finds something that is going to quote unquote increase productivity while also cutting costs, as in getting rid of people, I know that they will
this
always.
Is the perfect equation for something like that.
This is the in the same way. This is the thing where it's well, why would anyone want to tap their fingers on a thing when they could just generate it themselves and get the perfect one? And it's that's not the point of what we're doing here.
It's the same thing with music, because there have been something I've talked about kind of over the years, a increasingly common trend of trying to create virtual musicians and virtual influencers, not like your Hatsune Mikus of the world, not like your VTubers, where it's a person kind of puppeting a thing, which can be an artistic expression, but quite literally creating something that is wholly owned by the studio, a real industry plant that doesn't have feelings, can't ever be overworked, can always infinitely produce, and just provide free infinite money glitch. It's basically what everybody's after.
I think that is also okay. Here's the best way I can describe what this video is causing in my brain right now is You know when somebody's like, hey, I had this wild dream last night, and they tell it to you for 15 minutes, and the entire time you're like, I do not care about what this dream was.
Yes.
And the reason behind that is because it's a dream, and the dream has no logic, and anything can happen in it, and therefore there are no stakes. And there is no, like, sure, if you're telling it to me because you want me to, like, figure out how this is about your dad somehow, sure, I can talk to you about that.
And my dad was there, and he was mean to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think this is
That's
about
fine.
my dad?
But if you're trying to tell it to me as a story, as like, wasn't this so funny that this happened in the story? I have no connection with it because it's a dream that doesn't actually exist.
Exactly.
Similarly, when somebody describes to me a D&D campaign thing,
or an improv show,
sometimes I'm a little bit more into magic, so I can pick up on all the weird things that are happening.
Sometimes it's a lot to catch on to. Yeah.
When someone's like, "Oh, I did this thing and this thing and this thing," I'm like, "Cool, that's just what the rules laid out for you. So of course that happened." Like, or you improvised a thing, and that's what we do when we're creating something together. But there's no like, there was no like. Trying to absorb that story as if it is as important as you telling me how your mom got hit by a car, that's never going to be the same, because one of those has stakes and one of those doesn't.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Same
it's not
with
grounded
this.
in anything.
If I can watch someone who has actively chosen to do a thing as an ASMR artist, and they have decided to cut these certain things, that's an interesting thing that they've chosen to do. They've made this thing. This is a dream to me. This means nothing. It triggers all the same, like,
it's the high fructose corn syrup, right? It like we weren't meant to have this much access to refined sugar. Not meant to, but like our bodies, it's like the technology is going to evolve faster than our bodies and our minds can evolve. Yeah. And there are risks to that. But yeah, this does feel like jacking into the dopamine factory or whatever.
Yeah, because like, isn't part of the fun of those knife videos is that the knife is really sharp and it's cutting something that would be hard to cut or that you wouldn't normally cut into, right? Yeah. So if it's like a foam thing, you're like, ooh, the foam makes an interesting
I think the
noise.
Sounds too, but that's the thing is, like, of course we can steal a bunch of ASMR creators, like high quality audio recordings of certain sounds, and we can label it and train an AI to reproduce it. Human intent is an important aspect of creation that this to me is like, it just feels like Cocomelon for adults, you know, like
100%
where it's like a baby can't perceive of the intentionality behind art, so it is just like, okay, let me jingle some keys or whatever. This
is the jingling keys, and I think it is so important to recognize that, like, it does rewire your brain. Like, when you watch enough of this stuff, you will start to crave I need the pure, like, I can't watch these analog ASMR videos anymore. I gotta get the pure stuff. Yeah, like, truly, I'm just surprised that this isn't just like, here is an amalgamation of random images and then all of the most immediately triggering ASMR sounds, all one right after another. It's getting close to like, it's getting close to consuming an entertainment unit. Yeah. You know, it's you go and it's just like it blasts your brain full of color and sound. Yeah. It very much, anytime, again, going back to the dream thing, if someone's like, I asked Grok this thing, and I'm like, well, congratulations. Like, you talked to yourself, essentially. Yeah. Like, this is just reflecting back the things that you want. And whenever anyone is like, but imagine a world where you could just be like, I want an action movie that is this long and has this kind of thing, I'm like, that does not sound appealing to me. That could only ever sound appealing to an executive. Yeah. Like, it can only sound appealing to an executive because their incentive is not the same thing as what an artist, like, obviously there's a profit motive even in art for artists, but usually at its purest form, an artist is expressing something with their art. And when you boil it down to just profit, then you just get anything to make a quick buck, and nothing means anything. Yeah. Like, I'm not an ASMR guy, but it's like pleasing. They've created something that's pleasing to look at.
Also,
I'm not going to
play
deny
a little bit more, because there was something else pleasing about this. the little cubes falling out for some reason.
And like this is like
that
in the
happens
soap
in a
cutting
video
videos.
game.
Yeah.
As like a reward. So there's like a reward center in my brain that's
that
like,
triggers
ooh.
that.
And in like soap cutting videos when the soap starts to shard off and do a bunch of little pieces. All I can do, like I'm relatively powerless when it comes to regulating AI. And I also do not think that the American government would ever regulate something related to AI more quickly, like in a preventative fashion.
Yeah.
Like that there's just no universe. And also that's not going to happen very quickly. So this is in the move fast and break things, wild west of we found a new gold rush. We're not considering any of the risks of that. We are simply racing to capture as much gold as possible because eventually this market will become so saturated that you have to do more work to get you have to mine deeper, harder, better, faster, stronger in order to get the oil, to get the resource out of the earth. And right now it's like a cheap thing. This is just generated with VO3. I'm sure it is difficult to in some capacity, or else even more people would be doing it successfully. But people who don't take AI advancement seriously a few months ago are like, the fingers, they're never going to get fingers right. That's how I know. Well, look at these
already.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
they're beautiful.
And that's okay, relax. And like, that's a thing where I'm like, this stuff, I do believe that we like when things proliferate and grow, we will continue to identify trends, the AI look, to be able to identify these things as people. But I will say that I'm at least a bit concerned that the AI will catch up to patch those perception holes.
It's gonna be, I think that
it's a moving target.
Yeah, there will always be an element of like, you can't know what you're looking at, and that's a very scary thing to get used to as we go into whatever this future is. Like there is certainly, I've seen the jokes online about how it's like when I'm in the nursing home, my kid will be like, oh no, my teacher, they're an AI, you didn't notice that they said Coca-Cola wrong, like that kind of thing, where it's like we're
like
all going to be
ads.
moving as we like are absorbing these new technologies that are both frightening and moving at such a clip, because all we want is for them to make things more productive. And like, I think that's like the thing that always gets me with this kind of thing is when people are like, but it gets rid of all that boring stuff, like practicing and perfecting your art and doing the and all the stuff that makes you feel worthwhile in life and you enjoy. And it's like, no, quit it. That's not the stuff that I want to.
We've talked before about when it's like a drawing and it's like, anyone can do this. It's like, anyone can draw too.
Yeah,
You
like,
just have to...
AI is making art accessible. That was the most accessible thing for anyone to do ever. And Jordan started doing this thing in which I started doing it after him, was just going, when's life?
Yeah.
Hey, when's life? When do I do? Like, if you don't want to practice, if you don't want to get good at your own thing, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What we need to remember is that there's such a fear of being cringe. But there should be a bigger fear of being lame, because if you're cringe, all right, being cringe means you've tried a thing that you have been excited about, and maybe it comes out weird. And like, yes, you've learned how to do a full K-pop dance in your fedora, and maybe that's cringe, but you also learned how to do the full dance. And that's great. If this, when you're like, oh, it is more cringe for me to write an essay about something I'm passionate about and about a storyline that I like than it is for me to just ask ChatGPT to do this. But that is infinitely lamer. That is so much lamer to just be like, oh, I would rather not do a thing so that way I'm never putting myself in a vulnerable position because that scares me. And like, you should be more afraid of being lame.
There might be a cultural disconnect here, but there's a lot of look, they're trying to do something. That guy over there, I remember when I started a YouTube channel I posted about it on Facebook, people are like, oh, look, he's doing a little thing.
Yep.
And then until you do it to an extent, and then people are like, oh, that's actually valid.
Yeah.
it's actually a thing you can do as your career or whatever. I feel like that happens with art, right?
Yeah.
Like you draw, like if I drew a drawing right now and it wasn't very good and I showed it off to people, there's a certain amount of pity I feel like that some people would feel if I was proud of my bad drawing. And then if I got really good after putting out like a shitty drawing, then suddenly it's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And that progress, that journey, I think is an inherently valuable journey.
And I also think that there's a lot in our society of looking back at current people who are succeeding in art and retconning all of the stuff they did as good up until that point, and that is not true. Like everyone loves to talk about there's a Christopher Nolan like student film that's about a guy in a box that like is also trying to squash himself in a box. It's like cool and interesting and meta. I don't think it's great, but it's also like I see where he was going from there. But like everyone goes back to that and they're like, look at how perfect he was when he made that short film. And it's like, no, that student film looks like a student film. It's not polished. It's not perfect. There's some interesting things in it. And then he used that to get better. And like that is, I think, a very scary thing is, especially now with everything being online and people, myself included, scrubbing old videos and like trying to get things away, whether that's just because you grew out of it or you didn't want to have that thing because you were like, oh, this wasn't as good as I could have made it. You get so afraid of the process getting to a thing that you think you have to be good at the very beginning.
Because the process is cringe.
Yeah.
Because like I cringe so often looking back on things that I've done.
Oh yeah.
But it's not lame.
Not lame. Exactly.
And it's like, you know, to cringe, I agree with to become cringe is to be free, you know, embrace cringe and all that, because we create so many artificial roadblocks for ourselves and they stop us from realizing potential, because maybe you're like me and when you were younger, like you didn't want to do things that you weren't initially very good at because it was so embarrassing.
This is not to bring it to something as stupid as sports, but this is something people do with first year NBA players where they're like, he's a bust. And it's like, give him time. This is his first season in the NBA. Like, let him develop.
If anyone ever does anything later on in their career, it will like redefine like the way that people are so quick to cast judgment on, you know, LeBron James's son, Bronny. Immediately people were like, he's not an NBA player. He's not cut out for the NBA. And then he starts like putting up incredible numbers in the G League. Yeah. And then people are like, well, he's, you know, a Nepo kid and he's like not really good enough to be like a rotation player. And he's only in year 2, and a year prior to him joining the NBA, he nearly died on the court from a heart condition.
Yeah.
Like this is like, he's bounced back unbelievably quickly. Yeah. And he has an unbelievable amount of pressure on him. And he's had an unbelievable amount of privilege to get him to this place. But the amount of weird like judgment on him, especially being like a second round 60th pick in the second round draft pick, where no one can even name another person who was drafted that low that ever became something in the NBA. Yeah. Like it's, but it's because it's like, it's cringe to not be the best at everything at all times. Yeah. And to get human condition about it, it's because we don't like, we want to feel better about ourselves. So seeing someone not succeeding at something, even if it's being an NBA player, when the person critiquing them has never left their couch, it makes them feel better to be able to find flaws. Yeah. And if it's easy to find flaws, then the better they feel. You know,
there are several things that like I've wanted to, this kind of ties back into the conversation we were having earlier about like, I just lost my train of thought. Like careers and like where you want to go with it, and like, oh, do I want to do this? Oh, I don't want to do it on a professional level, but it's fun to do. Like you like to sing, and there are like even when I was a kid, I played violin throughout high school, and I like didn't want to practice at home because I was like, I don't know this song that well. My family's gonna hear it and think I sound like shit. You just gotta practice. But like even now, like there are things I love to do. I love to perform, whether it's singing or just like being in a YouTube video or something. And I've been wanting to get back into YouTube. I've been wanting to kind of get into voice acting. And so I'm going to reveal a thing. I've been doing like little auditions for voice acting, and I didn't do it for the longest time because I was like, oh, what if other people in my house like hear me doing them? Or like, what if but I sound weird. And even like alone in the house, I wouldn't do it because I got embarrassed of myself.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, no, you just have to, you're never going to get better if you're just like, well, I'm not immediately the best person I've ever heard, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it takes so much.
Pilled, which I am. I'm an evangelist for improv.
Yeah.
But I was terrified of doing anything until I took improv because it teaches you how to fail and celebrate failure, and then
and just build on
use
it.
the failure to then build something new and beautiful.
Or bad, and then it's over and no one cares.
Yeah, no one remembers
No
it.
one remembers it. It sounds like a dream when you recount it.
Yeah.
Like you set up so many roadblocks for yourself, and you just have to have the mindset of to be cringe is to be free, because you can cringe at yourself, but you have to still let yourself do the
Or
thing
like,
that makes you
I'll
cringe.
do the bad version is like another like mental like framework sometimes. It's like, Brian, I'd be curious your thoughts on this with writing, especially, or Anastasia, where the thing where you don't want to move past the first sentence because you go, oh, that's not right.
Yeah. You're like, I need to come up with a name for this character.
That needs to be better. Yeah, and then it can be so arresting.
Yeah.
Where you kind of have to, like, for me, something that's helped is like, okay, so we're gonna put down the placeholder version. Yeah. Like when we would script stuff a lot for my main channel back in the day, oftentimes I would identify the structure of a joke that I wanted, but I didn't know it was like a Mad Lib where I was like, okay, I want to do a joke that's structured this way, but I don't know the specific, because you can get into like comedy math where it's like, okay, I don't know the specific here and this thing here.
Is it pee-pee? Is it poo-poo?
Is it pee-pee? Is it poo-poo? Like,
the amount of times that I have written a thing that's like X thing, Y thing, and a third thing, and it's just like that. I know that that's what it's gonna be. Yeah. And I rule of thirds. I know that's what we're gonna do.
Exactly.
So
What's
I'll
the
figure out
comedy
third
number?
Thing. It's fine.
What's the funniest number in this scenario?
I do think, people say perfect is the enemy of good, but I think perfect is the enemy of done. Yeah. And I mean that in the most loving possible way, because if you are, especially with writing, because the truth is the way you make writing good is rewriting, right? So being able to be like, whatever, I'm just going to put in a placeholder and move on from this. Like, that gets you to vomiting up everything in your brain onto the page, right? And then once you get to the end, then you can go back.
You don't have to spin the RAM now thinking about that path that you've paved. And you can see other, like, as you're traversing that path, you can start to see other openings and other opportunities. Like in a video game, the first time you walk through a level, maybe you're focused on the end. Yeah. And then when you go back, you go, oh wait, there's like a little branching path over here. Oh, there's a little secret. Yeah. Like, but before there was so much stimulus. I was so overwhelmed with the opportunity ahead of me. I just went into beeline, and now I preloaded that. The map tiles are loaded in. You know what I mean? Because like, that's the thing. It's like the plane's already been built. The plane already flies. Okay, so now let's make the paint job better. Let's make the wing more aerodynamic, you know?
It is a weird thing to come back to AI ASMR,
which I love,
which we all are such big fans of. The thing about it that like is so hard to describe to someone who has never tried to make anything is that it's like the end product is rarely the thing that makes me very excited. Like, if anything, that tends to be like the scary thing. I'm enjoying it. Like, I go through big pits and like highs where
peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys, not pits and valleys. Those are both down.
I go through pits. I go through valleys.
Recently, I've been a lot of pits and valleys.
Yeah, sometimes it is pits and valleys.
I'll be like fully honest. These past couple years, I've been doing lots of pits and valleys and abysses, and they've been great for me. But I don't know. There are few things outside of like maybe I don't know, food or sewing. Like, food is one of my favorite creative activities because I know immediately at the end that it's good, right? Or that it's bad. And like when it gets a little more subjective, and when I'm like making any of my videos or music or anything,
right.
I tend to be way more self-critical, as opposed to I can make a burger, and if I enjoy and I eat the whole burger, congratulations, Brian, you did a good job. Like, there's nothing else that matters at that point in time.
That is a functional burger. And also, guess what? It's gone. It's in my belly.
Exactly.
And all that matters is that I enjoyed it.
And
why can't we have that same framework around something creative?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like with ASMR AI stuff, where I'm like, the closest equivalent I can think of is like, okay, I cooked a meal for my friends and they enjoyed it. That is the best feeling in the world to me.
Absolutely, yeah.
I took a meal kit that I prepped and people enjoyed it. That's okay, but it's not the same. I ordered a food and I told you that I worked really hard on typing it into my order, and then it got here and you all enjoyed it. There's nothing I get from that where I'm like, congrats, well, I ordered from the good Popeyes this time. Right? That's all that happened.
Great Popeye curation technique.
Exactly. Like, there's really not a thing. Like, and it's so hard to describe that to someone who hasn't cooked a thing before, where it's like, no, but when you do make a thing and everyone goes, this is so tasty, there's no better feeling in the world.
And not everything has to be a journey, a hero's journey, right? Like, because sometimes you're tired after work, and so you order out, or sometimes you don't want to be challenged, so you watch fucking Cops Miami police force or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like
the 18th Cops spinoff.
Yeah. No, just like one of those things where it's like true Los Angeles in the force or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Chicago fire. This time we're putting them out.
Yeah. And it's like, Chicago PD fire. The police department's on fire? Question mark. And that's okay. Like, those like kind of paint by numbers shows, like, it's not about saying they're all bad, because I think everything, like, there is a market for these things because they hold a place, right? When someone tells me they watch or listen to my podcast while doing their chores, or they watch a video while they're eating, I don't go like Christopher Nolan, like, you need to be in.
If you're not watching this on IMAX, you're not watching it at all.
What the hell, dude?
I rent out every theater every week so I can watch Sad Boys.
Right,
the way it's intended.
That's why we have the Sad Boys 35 millimeter like film canisters.
It's all on film.
Just film in
Brian.
8K. Just in case.
But so it's like, obviously you choose your battles. Yeah. But choosing some battles.
Choose some battles. Don't just make them all easy.
Is that, to me, that is when you live, right?
Yes.
Like having some sort of challenge. And you know, I will say that, like, the choice and creative pursuit of challenge, or excuse me, the pursuit of challenge is a privilege. Like, I think that, like, not everybody has the space in their lives to think about that. But if you have a passion, but you're not good at it at your first try, and you really love it, there's no reason not to keep doing it, because we're so quick to turn something. How can you make that profitable? Like, for when I started doing YouTube, for the people who I worked with in tech, not everybody, but like, for some people, the way I needed to get it through their heads that what I was doing had value was to discuss monetary value. And that's not why I was doing it. I would go start a company and try to, like, have a huge exit if I was trying to make, like, generational wealth or whatever. But it's like, it's just like what I wanted to do. And I think I want to, like, I'm fortunate enough to be able to live a life where I can, like, pursue things that are, you know, I'm curious about. And that is
But our society has been a little, you know, muddied by the fact that we value money over almost anything else. And it even, you know, we've talked about
how good
this
of a father
with Pokemon
were you? Doesn't
cards.
matter, but I'm a billionaire. So
Like with Pokemon cards, where it's like, this one's worth $3,000, but like, is that why you like the card?
Yeah. And it's also like, and I love buying packs and cracking packs. And yes, that is a commodity. Yes, I love engaging in aspects of commodities and consumerism and stuff. Because that's my journey isn't being the guy who makes the that's not my
Yeah.
challenge, is being the guy who makes the next card game.
Yeah. Talking specifically about like card values and stuff, where like that was a thing in Magic that I had to get used to, was like, oh, I need to know what this card is, like outside of just will it work in my deck, partially because I'm like, it's scary to hold a card that's worth $300 in your hand to be like, oh, what am I doing, right? Like, but it's just something that like now has become a part of this whole culture. But in the same way of like, things need to be immediately profitable, and that's why things like AI are so hot, because it's like people want to get the thing without having to do any of the work. And that is, I'm not saying that like it's only worthwhile if you toiled and you feel terrible, although that's, you know, my beautiful Catholic upbringing would tell me otherwise. But like something that I've been struggling with a ton recently is just trying to remember what the joy is in making a thing, because so much of everything gets tied into how it is received and how other people like view it. Like that is obviously how our whole careers is
that
kind of
happens
online.
to me too, where it's like sometimes if there's time pressure on something, the frustration of not being able to get from point A to point B can take away the joy, or can make me forget about the actual enjoyable parts of the process.
Yes, definitely. And the final thing I was just gonna say was just like it is so hard now. I am currently struggling with this to try to learn a new thing. It is so hard. And so like the only preachy thing I can say is to anyone who is like in school right now and like using ChatGPT or any AI to do the thing is like, this is your only chance in life to learn anything. Please learn.
Yeah.
Try to figure out a joy of learning, because like as soon as you hit a career or whatever, they don't want you to learn anything anymore. They want you to produce. They want you to do the thing that you've already learned, and you don't have any space to do this other stuff. Where
and
like
you have
that
to
was
fit that in.
You have to find a way to like, oh cool, now after work I'm tired and I don't want to go learn a new language or whatever.
My brain is sore.
Yeah, it's hard. And so like it is, I kick myself over the things that I didn't learn as a kid.
I
just
100%
because
agree,
I
by
was
the
like,
way.
you know, I wish I was good at piano. I wish I was good at these other things.
Yeah.
But I think that it makes it more worthwhile. Again, something I'm currently struggling with, of like, it is worth it to still try to learn something, even if you're not good at it, even if you will never be good at it. It is worth it to try to learn, because it is, you will find things about it that make you happy and that you are enjoying. And that like, if I never tried to learn, like if I gave up on doing pottery immediately, which is what I wanted to do because I sucked at it, I would have never actually found a thing that I enjoyed for so long and then haven't done for the past year, because I've been like, well, I have to work now. I can't do this other thing.
I can't turn this into content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll be turning that into content soon, and I'll find a way to do my pottery on camera, because that's the only way things work.
That's
in
the only,
this
because
industry.
now that big Hollywood's paying me to get ripped and be Mr. Pottery coming to a theater near you.
Can't wait.
Anastasia, what were you gonna say?
I just was gonna say I want to see. Peeps said they had a version.
Oh yeah,
they found a version of.
I
this.
also want to look a little bit before we tab off this, just more at comments, because I just want to. These are so popular, and people are just like,
yeah.
The funny thing is, I don't want to actually watch more.
No.
Because I feel like it's just going to be more of the same.
Yeah, it's got. There's always like a little bit of a misdirection of like, oh, what's inside of the apple? I guess there's going to be some seeds that fall out. You know.
There's but yeah,
5
let's look
glass
at a few more
videos,
comments.
so what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I'm no better than an iPad baby. See, yeah.
Yeah.
That's...
is this es real o ficción? Was a little lower. Ciencia ficción, so science fiction.
Yeah.
Is this real or science fiction?
True.
It is science fiction. I'm sorry to say.
A lot of different languages, which is interesting.
I mean, this is, everyone understands
what
the
is,
power of.
What does dudar mean in Spanish? Dudar.
I don't know.
Oh no, that's wrong. False cognates.
Doubt.
It's to
It
know
was?
about something. Wait. Or to have doubt about
Yeah.
something.
Can you scroll up?
The best
something without a doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, the best one.
This must be the best one without a doubt.
The best one I've seen.
The best one Visto. Yeah, I've seen without a doubt. Yeah. Sorry, my Spanish is rough.
Yeah, this is a
I always imagine that the block of the diamond block was, or the crystal. What is that? Crystal block.
Yeah.
Used to be hueco. What is hueco?
This is why you need to
Empty?
learn Spanish.
Empty.
While
yeah.
you still can.
Yeah, learn
Before-
it in
See?
high school.
Yeah.
And I the knife has is infinitely sharp.
Yep.
There was a video I saw the other day of someone cutting a real thing, and it was supposed to be like, is the inside of this thing going to be cake or steak? And then they cut it, and it was an apple, and that's funny. I think
That's good.
That's funny, and I enjoyed that so much more than something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's
So
like, someone actually just like made a video, and they made it a joke, and it was
Yep.
good.
You have
Yeah.
the
A little
real
surprise
one.
element.
Let's see Peeps's.
Oh yeah.
ASMR Slice Lab. I wonder if that's just another one of those content. But yeah, content farms have always been like, just earlier on in my commentary career, I talked a lot about content farms, and it's very interesting to see them truly become like headless, where it's like you don't
Yeah.
even need people anymore.
No, it's just whatever gets the most engagement.
Okay, recreating AI Part 9, Minecraft block cutting. I
Yeah,
love
that's funny.
this.
I
Yeah,
like
this
this.
is great.
Is this a fudge block?
I think it might just be clay.
Clay.
Clay? Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, something crispy.
What's
in it.
crunchy in there?
Yeah,
I
it-
would eat it.
It
Yeah.
could be
It looks good.
They might
chocolate
have-
with nuts in it.
Yeah, or they added the sounds
Yeah, I was gonna
after.
say.
Oh yeah.
It does look like a nougat.
Oh yeah, it doesn't line up.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
The-
so imperfect and lovely.
It's just like, it's so silly.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I love
That is
it.
funny.
Can you play the one I sent from Instagram? This is the Garfield tarot reader.
Oh my god.
and
That's
she
great.
has these little plastic Garfields. If you turn on the sound,
With the Garf Outdoorsman, we don't have a.
she
full
has these bracelets
commitment
and long nails, and she
Oh,
taps the
that's
little
great.
We
Garfs and
have
she shakes them
the
up.
Placement of the Outdoorsman Garf coming directly at you and facing you.
That's
That
so
is
fun.
telling me that there
That's
is going
great.
to be an opportunity coming your way.
Look, all other tarot reading I'm a little suspicious of, but this one I believe
Yeah.
100%.
This one I'm curious about how like Mondays factor into this whole equation.
Yeah.
There is one where there's a Garf that says "I hate Mondays"
Mm.
You say a
on his
garf?
shirt.
Is that what the
garf,
people in
yeah.
the
That's
community?
what she calls them,
Oh,
a
okay.
Garf.
I was just saying that
This
would be.
Garf, this outdoors Garf. And it's like, that's so creative and funny and
Yeah.
interesting. And like, it's still ASMR. I love the nail tapping. I like
Yeah.
her jangle of her bracelets and her sultry voice.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, you get something that's like so unique and funny.
Yeah. That's great. I love that. Like I think that's the one thing I have here is that I'm sure there are people who are out there being like, oh, but like who needs real ASMR when we can just get like the mainline stuff
True.
that's like pure uncut pure cut, I suppose.
Yeah.
Little Minecraft blocks, and it's great, but it's like that will always be the case, is like, well, we don't need writers for a thing because we
Yeah.
got this thing to write. We don't need actors because we got this other
We
thing.
have the
and it's-
Writobot 9000.
Exactly, and there will always be that thing. There are some people out there who are like, "Oh, this is going to destroy writing." I don't believe that. I think like there will always
Hollywood
be
is
people
doomed.
who want to listen to people's writing. Like people, this is always more important than a new technology is the constant storytelling thing that humans have done forever.
Yeah.
The fact that something comes from a human mind is an important part of how you can connect to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like not talked about enough,
Yeah.
where I think that people's like the AI accelerationists or whatever who are like, Hollywood's doomed, check out this like trailer, and it's a bunch of like lens flares and like it just looks like you're watching a dream,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like, okay, well, there's no intentionality behind this.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I gave prompts for each of the scenes.
Well, and often, so I think we're actually in a pendulum swing right now where independent film is kind of having a resurgence. It's getting more and more popular. And I think that's kind of in response to the fact that we've been given cotton candy for quite a while.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's always going to be these swings.
Yeah. It happens in music. It just happens in everything.
Yeah.
It's like we get like the 2000s. I feel like a lot of our clothes looked way more futuristic.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, then we relaxed. And then like we'll probably get
maybe
but hey.
in 500 years, our robot overlords are going to be listening to this, laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, they really thought. Anyway, back to my cutting videos.
And they're going to be wearing like cargo capris. And,
Yeah.
I'll do
All
it.
2000s Ugg boots.
Slay Queen Bot. Brian,
Jarvis.
thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me take Jordan's very big shoes.
And it was not it was not by his choice.
No.
You took him by force.
I made sure that this was my space.
You made sure that it was my space. You came in here. You came in here like this.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It's a joke for only ancient people.
Yeah, that's good. Only people who like Final Fantasy would get that
There
joke.
we go. Yeah. The Gundam heads out there.
Yeah, no, this is great. I'm glad to be fully replacing Jordan for the rest of the podcast.
Rest of time.
It's
Well, we
gonna
got
be
enough
nice.
audio now that we can kind of train an AI on your
Yeah, that's all.
likeness.
I
Yeah.
understand that that's what you really invited me over here for, is so you can make your own Minecraft cutting videos.
Well,
for
yeah.
this.
Next week we're gonna be joined by the disembodied hands cutting a Minecraft block next to me,
That's good.
and I'm just
Based
gonna
on
talk to them, and you'll just hear.
that. What are your views on artistry? That's great.
You say something they don't like, they make the really bad glass one.
Yeah, get that out of here.
Is there anything you want to promote? I know you go. Oh, you always have a bunch of random shit going on.
Yeah.
You'll like
I
be
don't
like
know.
in a film.
It's a bad thing. I feel like I have gotten so used to just being like, you can look me up online as Brian David Gilbert, because I don't know when things come out or when
True,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm on them. Actually, I'm the fact checker there. I'm also doing, at least for another few, the Gotta Catch 'Em All game show with Pokemon. We'll be at Anaheim doing a thing there. Karen and I are still writing. If you're an executive and you want to hire a non-AI writer, I know that I've done a really good job of telling you why you should hire me instead of an AI.
Right. That was actually
have-
the whole point of this.
We have a huge executive following.
I know the
Actually, I was just
executives
saying we have a huge
love
AI
this.
following. It's like they're all bots.
The bots are here. They love it.
I really
This-
enjoyed what they said about automatically generated
We
content.
should hire Brian.
I can't wait.
And the AI's
Can't
getting
wait to work
depressed
on
because he's
that.
like, "What? Why don't they like my stuff?"
Yeah, look,
Writers
I
are taking our jobs.
The writers are taking our robot jobs.
I will personally adapt the cutting Minecraft Cube AI videos into a full-length movie because I know that's what they're clamoring for after Minecraft and Minecraft Block Party.
That does seem like a newspaper comic where it's just like a packed out theater and it's just Minecraft block cutting.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, "Wow, incredible."
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to write it for you, so call me up. Otherwise, I'm around. I don't know. I've got nothing else going
Hey.
at the moment, so.
That's my favorite part because most of the guests that come on, we don't have people coming on just to promote something like
No.
a Jimmy Fallon or whatever.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, "Oh fuck, what am I even? I am at the corner store on Thursdays.
Yes.
That's where I get my
Yes.
roast beef."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Invite me onto your magic shows because I like to play Magic.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Gathering.
true.
That's all.
And you can check Brian out on our Patreon episode of Sad Boyz Nightz, which is located on patreon.com/sadboys. Brian, thanks again for coming. We end every episode of Sad Boys with a particular phrase. We love you.
And we're sorry.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, all you want it. Girl, too rich for me.